Welcome back to the Good Guys podcast. I'm sitting here with my co-host, someone who puts the bris in. I got nothing. Ben Soffer. Thank God you're here, Ben. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. And we are joined by the great Brian Baumgartner. Sir,
well,
it's a pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me. It's truly my pleasure.
We're so excited. Just like food, golf, laughs. Like honestly, just you're a brother. You're amongst brothers.
Thank you.
We're here. I hope you feel as good as we feel.
I said before, this chair is like I'm getting a warm hug. It's fantastic. I'm excited. It is, by the way, 97 degrees here in New York today. And I know speaking about the weather means that you have nothing else to say. It's not true. It's just very present on everyone's mind.
It's important to mention that the sun is now reflecting off of the concrete, and it's the time where it's absolutely time to leave Manhattan. It's time to leave. It's the time where the sun starts to pick up the rat piss.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're just living in steamy filth.
Yes.
And paying too much in taxes.
Yes. I'm just here for 2 days.
Okay. Well, good for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Good
and
for you.
we
Well,
are,
Josh
we
is
are
in the
three
Cooves.
We are three Clydesdale men. Let's be honest. We are men of a certain stature. We're hardy. We're all well fed. And the heat, it does not do well for my body type, and I can only speak for myself.
Yes, and it's important that I mention, because we just met, that I recently lost 70 pounds.
Congratulations.
Thany you.
Yes.
But I'm normally...
And I'm sorry.
He's on...
It's no good. It's no good.
He's on PEDs, though. He's on PEDs. Tell him. He pisses dirty.
I'm on the Zemp.
Oh, okay.
I'm on it.
The Zempi.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay.
It's not good, though. It's not good.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's great results. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to go off it and just gain weight again. Like, it's more fun. Like, I can't eat the same amounts of food. And at some,
physically.
Originally, that's the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is like, eat less food. And then you're like, but I love eating more food. So now I'm just like sad. So, and speaking of food, this beautiful cookbook that you wrote, I want to talk about for a minute, because we're going to be cooking with it later today, right? Brian's coming on.
Yes.
Or we're coming on each other's. We're making a nice reel. We're cooking a beautiful chicken. And as somebody that has recently entered the cooking space myself, I just want to know, obviously, chili and The Office, it's something that has been with you forever.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's where this came from, or there's just a passion for cooking, or where did this come from?
Well, so this is a barbecue cookbook.
Yes.
I had another cookbook, which was chili. So, I mean, after the incident, let's just refer to it as the incident from here on out, happened so many years ago with me and chili. It was natural to do that. This is really my passion. I do cook a lot. When I'm home, I'm probably at the grill or barbecue 4 or 5 nights a week. I love doing it. It relaxes my mind. And I grew up in the great state of Georgia. I don't know why I needed to refer to it as that.
No, it is. They have a very good balanced budget every year.
Okay. That was a big part of my childhood and my culture. So I have been eating and cooking barbecue for a long time. And weirdly, you don't think of barbecue and California together, but there is no weather issues there. So I can do that year round.
And what do you think about people that say that barbecuing, cooking a steak on the grill, is effectively seasoning the charcoal?
Well, I say great, by the way. I think the big thing is barbecue. Barbecue by its strict definition is slow cook.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And grilling is not that. Is more direct.
All right,
heat
we're separating
over the fire. This barbecue is barbecue. It's outdoor. It's grilling. It's barbecuing. It's slow cooking. It's smoking. It's the whole deal for me. Because for me, it's a communal activity, and for me, cultural. And I love to do it. So there's tips and tricks in there to grill great steak, as you mentioned, and also to slow cook stuff. And I love to entertain. I love to have people over. And yeah, so we've had a lot of fun with it, and a ton of like great both celebrity chefs and just food that I have liked gave their recipes for the book. So I'm really proud of it, and hope people enjoy it.
And where can we find this beautiful book?
Wherever you buy books.
Cool. All right. So
it's sort of like the podcast. Wherever you get your podcast is wherever you get books.
We've gone brick and mortar.
We've gone brick and mortar. We've gone Amazon. Yes, there is a website, seriouslygoodbarbecue.com. We'll link you to wherever you want to go.
Excellent.
Nice URL. That is a nice URL.
Thank you. Yes. Well, it makes sense, being it's the title of the book.
Who are some of your barbecue mentors, your barbecue idols, your barbecue heroes?
Well, I mean, after today, I'm sure it's you guys, or at least him. But the idea for the book weirdly started, or at least truly came to fruition during there was a pandemic a few years ago. Yeah, I don't know if you remember. There was.
Holy crap.
And I, like everybody, was just trying to find entertainment to consume. And all due respect, Netflix has been very, very good to me. This is not a show I probably would have watched, but it was a docuseries, a 6-part docuseries on Netflix, which was looking at like pit masters, barbecue masters from around the world. I watched this thing, and it is excellent, by the way. So shame on me. I should have always wanted to see it. And there was a guy, Rodney Scott, that does whole hog barbecue in South Carolina. And
nose to tail.
I had to go to Nashville during work. I hadn't been on a plane in months, but I had to go there, and I hadn't seen my parents in like 9 months. And
that's nice, right? Little break.
Yeah, a little break, but also like, okay, I've got to go and see them. I went to drive to them, and I took a detour several hundred miles to go to Rodney Scott's barbecue just because I was alone. I was like, I'm here. I might as well check it out. It was awesome. Met some guys doing a whole hog out back, and doing is probably the wrong word. Pit roasting. I don't know. Still doesn't quite work. Anyway, out back, and was able to talk to them, and it was a lot of fun. And so I don't know, the experience of that, I'm like, yes, I really love this. And so that was a big genesis for the book. So Rodney Scott's one for sure.
Now tell me, you're in Nashville, you're at Rodney Scott, you're in a rental car. Paint the scene for me, because I'm imagining you, multiple takeout trays in the car open. The wheel is greasy from your fingers that have been in the sauce. Like, that's how I would do it.
Yes. I mean, yeah, someone asked me recently, like, was it so incredible being there? The food was incredible. The experience of talking to the guys cooking was incredible. But one, and I always sort of make the joke about it being, this is a communal thing, barbecue. Like, people don't make a rack of ribs for one. Like, you don't do that.
No.
Like, you put a bunch on and you have people over, and it's a communal experience. So here's me at Rodney Scott's, and I'm like, this is incredible. I want to try everything. So I just like essentially am like, I'll just have one. They're like, what? And I'm like, no, just like everything. Bring me the pulled pork, and bring the, just different things that they had on the menu. And so, yes, it was me there. And I think they weren't allowing you to sit. That was South Carolina's dealt with a pandemic. Like, you can have a restaurant open. You can't sit inside. So there were like picnic tables outside, but it was me just sort of sitting alone. Like, this is great. Like, kind of looking around, trying to get someone to like nod at least to me. So yeah, the experience was not great because of the time that I was there, but yeah, it was really cool.
And what would you say is your? Oh, go, Josh.
No, sorry. Go for it, Ben.
What would you say is your favorite thing to cook in this book? Like, what's that one recipe? Maybe you're having a bad day.
Right.
You want to just eat till you can't breathe.
Well, I will tell you the thing that I am very proud about. There is a recipe in there that I probably cook once a week.
Okay.
Which is I feel very proud about a boneless skin. People say you can't do boneless, skinless chicken breast and make it good on the grill. It's very difficult. It does get very dry, but I believe, perfected a technique for keeping this dry, a marinade and a whipped garlic sauce that you can put on or dip in afterwards. So that's, I mean, truly by how much I have it, that's probably my favorite. But look, I mean, for me, if I have the time, a good 5-6 hours to do ribs, I really like that. I really like that. And the other thing I'll say, which I talk about quite a bit in the book, is I feel like people have this weird thing, right? Where it's just like, oh, I'm ordering filet mignon or like prime rib. And you're like, well, I've got to get something good, right? And then there are the other meats where nobody thinks about it or cares. They're like, well, that doesn't matter because it's just sauce, right? Like you dip good sauce at anything and it'll taste good. But I talk a lot about, for me, the quality of meat, where it was sourced from is very, very important. And something that I just wish, even if you do it once a week or once every 2 weeks or a month, like when you buy meat and whether you're slow cooking it or putting it on the grill or whatever, buying good quality meat is so important for how it tastes, and plus it's really the right thing to do.
Dentech, y'all. Look, Dentech is the brand to empower everyone to take charge of their oral care health. And the truth is, I'm 37 and I want to take charge of my oral care health. Actually, I want to level up, okay? I want to up my mouth game. And with Dentech, that's what I'm doing. I'm 37, okay? And like, for instance, recently I used their Aura brush, and basically it's a tongue cleanser that freshens breath. Literally, my wife was like, thank you. I was like, wow, really that bad? And she didn't respond, but I knew what she meant. But with the Aura brush, the bristles are designed after a surgeon's scrub brush, right? 2-in-1 bristles lift bacteria and the scraper removes it. Plus, you know that I am a grinding king, but they have these incredible dental guards for nighttime teeth grinding that help ease the pain from clenching and grinding. It helps prevent conditions caused by teeth grinding, including jaw aches, tooth chipping, cracking, and headaches. And it's available at Target, Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. So head to Dentech.com to find your local retailer and shop all of Dentech's products. That's Dentech, DENTEK.com. Like I said, sold at Target, Walgreens, Amazon, and Walmart. I'm telling y'all, Dentech is a game changer. So level up.
We've spoken about this extensively on the podcast. Have you heard of meat glue?
No. What's meat glue?
Okay. Meat glue is a powder that if you go to the wrong type of steakhouse, they're taking pieces of meat and gluing them into one whole steak.
Is this seriously
This is
for real?
seriously a thing. Meat glue. You can Google it.
Oh, that's horrible.
Horrible.
And it can't, one, it's horrible for a number of reasons. And two, that just doesn't taste good.
No, it doesn't taste good. But now you're going to think to yourself, when you have a bad steak, was it because it was a bad cut? Or was it because it was meat glue?
Yeah.
And it was like 19 different pieces
really
into one piece of steak. Yeah, it is horrifying.
Have you gone to try to specifically find meat glue?
No, I do nothing with this meat glue.
Okay.
It's not for me. It's not for anybody I know. It's something that I came across. I don't want to be associated with meat glue. I know nothing about it.
You're the face of meat glue.
I don't want to be.
It sounds
I don't want to be. I'm out on meat glue.
I think it behooves us to start exploring the dark side of barbecue. And I open this up to the floor, which is, will you eat barbecue within 6 to 18 hours of taking a flight? Hear me out. Because if I do, the people on that flight are going to it could be turned into a toxic war zone because of the gas fumes that I am letting out. I mean, it's my body, when I eat good barbecue, and I love every second of it, but I know I ate barbecue for a good 12 to 14 hours after.
Yeah, but see, let me say this, Josh. I think that's because of what I was just talking about. So I came, for me, my like love of this is, again, the communal thing, like from me growing up in Georgia. But if you go now to I will not name, but like a chain barbecue restaurant, this is what I'm saying. This is it. You very, very well could be eating meat glue or like shoe leather, because all they're doing, and when you see it in the branding, like you walk in and there's like their sauce is for sale. They are literally just machines trying to sell sauce and douse meat glue, maybe, into sauce, and that's
so delicious, though. So
barbecue.
delicious. That's why when you go to an Applebee's and you get that fried chicken doused in sauce.
Hey, I'm not mentioning names. I didn't mention any names. I want this to be very, very clear.
We'll be libeled here, not Brian.
Yes, I mentioned no names, but I think that's what you're referring to. You really don't know what you consumed. I'm just saying. Someone this morning, here in New York City, made me a pulled pork sandwich. They made this with Iberico pork, and let me just say,
from Spain, right?
Yes.
How do you know that?
That's
it's unbelievable.
That's a great pull.
Josh just knows. He knows a little about everything. Yeah. Everything. So he can look at from Spain.
Yeah.
You didn't know because you're kosher, Ben. It's okay. You get the pass.
Unbelievable.
I won't feel that when I get on a flight in like 24 hours, or at least I won't admit to it.
That's fascinating. Barbecue especially, there is something communal, and I would like to know, because I'm a sides king, and I'm going to admit it. I'm there for, I'm there for the mac and cheese. I'm there for the collard greens. I'm there for the fun sides and extras. Now, to a real barbecue man such as yourself, Brian, are the sides hooey? Is it not necessary? Is it all about the meats?
No, absolutely not. And I'm glad you asked. No, there are vegetarian recipes here in the cookbook. And in fact, I just check out the TikTok, the Instagram. I just posted a video of me doing elote Mexican corn.
I saw that
on the grill.
Delicious.
Yes, and
with the Quijota cheese. Is it the cheese?
Yes, Quijota,
Quijota. Delicious crumbled cheese.
It's a
good,
cheese.
Fantastic.
Cotija. Yeah, I don't know something about the way he said it made me like I suddenly was questioning my entire life and knowledge of cheese. No, it's Cotija cheese.
He thinks it's deli.
It's not Cojita.
No.
Cotija?
You're thinking of like Cohiba cigars. I knew that wasn't right. Thank you. And he made me look like an asshole. I just made it and bought it. And by the way, specifically the Cotija cheese, I had to go to 3 different stores and ask people for the tortilla cheese. You literally screwed.
Yeah, I fucked you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
clip this segment because it's
Yeah, that's my bad. Any mayonnaise in that?
There is.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Mayo brand of choice.
You know what I use now? Oh, that was your question.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound fancy, but again, I'm telling you, Sir Kensington's.
Oh, that's syndication mayonnaise.
What?
That's syndication mayonnaise.
Maybe, but it's very good. The someone who I was with earlier today, and I don't get this. This you talk about. This must be new show syndication of money. The Kewpie.
I use it all the time.
That's good.
It's unbelievable.
Stuff.
It's the Japanese mayo. It's a little bit sweeter. So if you're ever making like a tuna tartare,
yes,
you can't use Sir Kensington's. It just won't taste the same.
Yeah,
is what you're
expecting. Sir Kensington's. I do. It's not. It's probably a little sweeter than like Hellman's or whatever, but it's not. Yeah, that's a little sweet.
I'm a Hellman's guy.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay.
Absolutely love them. I don't know what it is, but there's something
Yeah,
people
you're a
love.
classic.
Do you know on the West Coast they don't have it?
Yes, it's called Best
It's
something.
called Best Foods.
Yes.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about all these brands? This is a terrible thing, but Sir Kensington's.
Yeah.
Give me a call.
Yeah.
Sir Kensington's.
This is what we do. No, we talk about brands and then we force them to pay us. That's that's what it is in the end. Speaking of money, 2021 highest earner on Cameo.
That's what we call a professional transition. Yeah.
We got to talk about this.
Okay.
First of all, how many videos, how much cash,
Yeah.
and did you enjoy it?
I will
And
never
the length
talk
of video
about the
is
cash.
important.
What?
The length of the video is important because
Okay.
I judge people by how long their cameos are.
Okay, mine are. You know what's funny is I just found this within the last week-ish that it tells you somewhere. I think it's public facing. I don't even think it's my own thing. How long the average video is, and mine are 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Wow, very nice.
Generous. Wow.
Is that generous?
I think so.
Yeah.
I take
I've
it
heard,
very seriously.
Yes.
I do.
How many did you do that year?
I did a
You know?
lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot. I mean, and I still do.
And you love them.
Here's what I love. So we're now entering the cheesy portion of the thing, but if you're going to ask me about it, I'm going to be honest about it. I truly, because I think there's 50,000 people on the site or whatever, and I'm number one. So like, I just literally just mentioned that because I wanted to mention it. But I think this is why I don't view it as about me. And I don't view it, because I've seen a lot of people's, I feel like a lot of people have a general attitude of, and I don't think it's intentional, and I'm not saying that these are bad people, but I feel like the messages are, isn't this so nice to be hearing from me? And I truly, that is not my MO. Here's what it is. I believe, and part of it has to do with The Office, part of it has to do with the good feelings, the comfort that people have derived from that show. I honestly believe it is about a father and a daughter, grown daughter, sisters, brothers, parents with their kids, that have a mutual fond affection, and that show brought them a connection. And so how I view myself is literally the conduit for them to have a connection. There is an anniversary, there is a birthday, there is we've lost touch with each other for a long time, and I just want to say hi, or I love you, or whatever it is. And I just view me as the person who is getting those two together. And so, yes, I crack some jokes, Office adjacent jokes at least. But that is truly how I view it. And that is why I think that, that people have responded to it and enjoy the messages. And I know it's cheesy and
it's beautiful.
And I'm not trying to say that, but that is, that's how I view it. Yeah.
Okay. It's time to have a heart-to-heart. Are you drinking 8 glasses of water a day? Did you know that drinking water can actually dehydrate you? Can you drink too much water? LMNT is here to help. Look, you're probably slightly dehydrated. You're probably low on electrolytes, and LMNT is something that can help. Look, enter LMNT. It's created by a former research biochemist, Rob Wolf, who wanted to figure out how to get you enough sodium, potassium, magnesium, all these good feeling, these important things that people just aren't getting enough of. With magnesium and potassium, I'm getting less muscle aches and cramps. I'm feeling less fatigue, getting less of that just kind of spacey, brain foggy thing. And I could never have guessed that it had everything to do with electrolytes, but it does. And it doesn't have any crap, no sugars, no fillers, whether you're on a ketogenic diet or you do fasting. It's just good stuff. And LMNT now has sparkling beverages that deliver the same zero sugar electrolyte formulation you already know and trust, but now it's in a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling water. I love sparkling water, but again, no sugar, no caffeine, all electrolytes. So get your free sample pack with any drink mix. Purchase at drinkelement.com/goodguys. And if you're on LMNT Insider, you have first access to LMNT Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water. What was, and we don't have to say the number, but how did you land on how much to charge?
We do.
Yeah.
How much money?
No.
Well, like, because if I did Cameo, I would have a hard time, right? Because I feel like I'd undersell myself and I'd be like, $25 a pop. Right. Let's go.
Okay.
And then
I can answer
inside,
that.
I want to charge $2,000 a pop and a little bit of crypto.
Right. Here's how I view this. So when I started, and I will say I have a lot of people who work in that business who believe I am actually too cheap. But here was how I started. Whenever I started, it was around Valentine's Day. And so I was like, nice. Okay, so here's a gift, generally between two people who are not in the same city. So what is the cost of flowers and chocolate? Like if I'm going to buy you for Valentine's Day some nice flowers and some chocolate, I'm going to give you a gift, which is disposable, by the way, and you can keep this forever. Like, what does that cost? And I arrived at, what would you say that would cost?
$150.
Easily
$150.
$150, $200.
Yeah. So I charged $145. And I have gone up slightly from that based on
inflation, babe. This is Biden's America.
Just based on I mean, wanting to still be accessible to a large number of people, but at the same time, going up just a little bit. But that was sort of the idea. So literally in the range, I'm still in that range. I'm less than $200. So like for me, it's like, what is a gift? A nice, that's where it started. That's how I arrived at the price. And I just, one more thing I will say, which this to me is important. And I think is helpful ultimately, although some people might not like it. I don't go on sale. And my manager said to me one time, and it has stuck with me, like, you're not a pair of jeans. Like people want a message or they don't. And I feel like a lot of people are like, it's Mother's Day this week only. And my opinion was, well, what if someone had a birthday last week and saw that they just paid X? So I'm the same price. It never goes up. And I don't think it's gone up for me in 2 years. And that's what it is. And it's great. And it's fun for people. I get a number of people on the street here in New York City who will refer to it. And I also feel like it brings people joy. And so I also don't feel bad about that.
It does. I give you a lot of credit. And I think that the whole flower market is nuts. These things are perishable. That's my true. What are you nuts? It's literally, it's going to be gone in a week and a half. And by the way, have you ever had flowers in your house for a couple days too long? The whole place starts to smell like the sanitation department.
It does. It does.
Especially if you go on vacation, you come back and you realize you left flowers. Your whole apartment reeks.
Terrible. No, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the cut flower market. I'll be honest with you. So now there's an industry that I just pissed off. But I enjoy it like as a, like if you're having a bunch of people over, like a special occasion, like I get, like it's very nice to have, but like if I'm giving gifts, I don't typically give cameos of myself, but like an actual potted plant or like an orchid or something that is self-sustaining and you don't just have to throw away sometimes 3 days later.
I was recently in Austin, Texas, and when we went to baggage claim, there was like a vending machine of fresh cut red roses. I couldn't believe it. Wow. $34.99 I bought it for my wife. She took them, threw them in the trash. But it was really a great, she's like, flowers from a vending machine? What are you, nuts? But the idea was just so crazy to me. I don't even know how you keep them fresh.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
So you take them on the plane?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why it's there. I don't know who it's for. Is
it like, oh my God, I forgot to bring my wife flowers? Or sorry, I forgot to bring my wife a gift while I was just like partying in Vegas for a week. So you get home to Austin and you're like, flowers?
It's to mask the smell of the gentleman's club.
Well, maybe.
Or it's for the family members that are coming to the airport to greet the person getting off the plane. A last minute welcome home. Welcome home. Nothing says welcome home like
vending
machine flowers.
Yeah.
Brian, may I ask, is it okay if I ask a few office questions?
Of course.
I love AG1. And the truth is, I first gave AG1 a try because, honestly, I'd heard so many of my favorite podcasters talk about it. And when I realized, as I was getting into my 30s, that it was important to do some certain supplementation to make sure that I was getting everything my body needed, I realized I was never going to do it unless it was easy. And that's where AG1 came in. Because since drinking AG1 daily, I have felt more energized and nourished and really just giving myself the peace of mind that I'm using AG1 to deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more. But it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple, right? It's just one scoop. It takes 60 seconds. It's mixed in water once a day, every day. And it's going to enhance your daily supplement routine. It's going to help with healthy aging. There's plenty of adaptogens. It's going to help with brain and gut and immune health. And these are the things that I need to do to sort of support what I'm working on and the things that I want to feel as I get a little bit older, because I realize with all these beautiful innovations, all I need to do is have access to something that's simple and easy, that's going to cover me across the board and going to leave me feeling great. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/goodguys. That's drinkag1.com/goodguys. Check it out. You have a very specific character and voice for your character on the show. And to your credit, I think that that's no easy feat, what you created. Was that the first iteration of that character, or did you kind of put it together and discover who this guy was through the auditions and early on in the process?
Number one, thank you. Very nice. Number two, it was a process. I mean, look, trying to make it not as long an answer as it could be, the show started, spoiler alert, with a show in Britain with Ricky Gervais called The Office. And there were characters that were the US version, The Office, had characters that came from there. And Keith was the character that Kevin came from. Creative, both with a K. I don't know if you figured that one out. And so that's really where it started. But the idea was here, our version, and ultimately what proved to be true, we did 206 episodes and they did 12. The whole idea was they wanted to keep it going. They knew that there were going to be more storylines for more characters and journeys and arcs over what hopefully would be a long time. So that was planned. But really for me, for Kevin, the developing the character with the writers and truly the writers beginning to sort of fall in love. Like the show is looking for archetypes, right? Like everyone sort of serves a purpose and the puzzle begins to be put together in the ensemble and how everybody works together. So the sort of, let's just call it childlike glee and joy, that sort of aspect of Kevin, the writers really fell in love with and started to write to. So I have really nerdy. So now we got emotional. Now we'll get a little nerdy. Justification for this, right? I think it's brilliant, Josh. The character of Kevin began much more deadpan is such a lame word, but and then began to gradually expand into his childlike joy. Let's call it that. So my character justification as the character evolved because of the stories that the writers were writing was that Kevin never changed, of course, but there was a documentary crew and 20 people around filming him, and he was very nervous about the cameras. So as the show kept progressing and he started maybe having a beer with the camera guy or hanging out and having a laugh, he became more comfortable. So more of his true natural personality came out. Boom, nailed it. That's
wow.
That's my like nerdy actor justification for how he changed. But really, right, the writers just continue to expand and slightly change what we had. The character description for him in the casting, because my manager and I at the time joked about it, was the only thing spectacular about Kevin is that he is spectacularly unspectacular. And I think, Kevin starts making a few basketball shots. You find out he won a World Series of Poker bracelet. He makes the greatest chili in all the land. Like, there's a lot spectacular about this ordinary guy, which ultimately I think is what the show is about. So that's a long-ish answer to your question.
Where did the voice come from? Did they just say, try a voice?
No, that's just me. I mean, I think that why the ensemble worked so well was the diversity from which the diversity of experiences that we all had, right? So like, I'll just name a few people. It's like Rainn Wilson and myself came from theater. You have Carell and Angela Kenzie and Oscar Nunez that came from improv. You have Craig Robinson and BJ Novak who came from stand-up. And so part of, I think, and I don't think this was necessarily even intentional, but that history there and different ways of working ultimately, I think, made us, learn from each other, but also just gave, as opposed to everybody being an improv. I feel like some shows where everybody is improv, you feel it. It's like you feel that improv sort of happening. This I feel like was different. And so, yeah, for me, I came from theater. It was about creating a character. How does the character sound? How does he walk? What's his physicality? People always talk to me about the voice, which is because it's very obvious, but, I had a whole physical thing going on, which, again, was sort of a part of the character, what was literally in my head was Kevin doesn't pivot, right? So like if he's turning, he doesn't turn. Like he can't do that. His whole body has to turn like a Titanic boat in order to face you. Like his feet, his shoulders and hips are always sort of square as he himself turns. But there's no like quick head movements or like rotating along the axis. That's sort of how it happens. So again, that's just where I came from. And so that was what was interesting to me. And sorry, I also like hadn't done a ton of film and television. So for me, it was like, oh, here's a character that I'm creating, and no one sort of like tapping me on the shoulder and being like, hey, this is what you're going to do for the next decade. Like there was not like no one was sort of saying that or doing that. It just was how I approached it.
How many times did you have to audition for The Office? What was the audition process like?
You know what? Actually, for me, was not originally the idea was that it was always going to be, and I was in every episode, but I got in the old like, oh, this is a guy in The Office. This is a guest star role. So my audition process was very quick. I had just moved to town. I had just moved like 3 or 4 months before. And so I was pre-reading with someone in Allison Jones's office who happened to be then the person who I worked with for 10 years, Phyllis Smith, who became Phyllis Lappin Vance on the show. She was a casting associate on the show because the director, she would read with all of us auditioning. And at one point the director was like, well, she's got to be in the show too. Like he just like plucked her out of there. Wow. So yeah, my first audition was sitting in a room, like tiny little office room where I just read with her. And then I met with the producers, and I honestly, it may have just been once. And then they took a bunch of time. The coolest thing was when Carell left, Allison Jones started looking for like mementos to give to him from his casting experience. And she came up to me, never forget, I still have it, came up to me and said, now I was looking for some like cool stuff from Steve, but I didn't find anything. But I found this and I thought you might like it. And it was a singular piece of paper it said Kevin at the top, and it said 1, 2, and 3, which were like the 3 finalists. It wasn't like, I mean, at that point, who they were evaluating. And it was me, it was Eric Stonestreet, who ended up on Modern Family, and it was Jorge Garcia, who was on Lost and so many other shows on ABC or whatever. So we were the 3. We each just sort of got the right show for us. It wasn't like I was better or someone else was better or worse or whatever. It was like, these are 3 different flavors that would have been totally different with any of us. But yeah,
that's a nice story though. Like, thank God all 3 of you were on big shows, and you were like, and then there was Rick, and he works at Five Guys.
Rick. Yeah, that's true.
And are you close with anybody on the show still?
Oh, all of them. I mean, truly, like, we are texting all the time.
Is there an office group chat?
There's an office group chat. Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about like a group text? Group chat.
Yeah, I had a small part in Oppenheimer, and we have the Oppen homies.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
I think ours is just The Office, but yes, we do. Yes. And then we have subsets of that with just some of us. But it's, for me, and people ask about like, you know, who I get along with or who's my favorite or whatever. And we were together a decade, and thankfully we got along. And my relationship with people is just like, it is different, like a family. Like, I talk to Jenna Fisher about business. I travel with and am really, our families are very close with Oscar Nunez and Angela Kinsey. And then we've had a fantasy football league for 19 years. And John Krasinski and Rainn Wilson and Andy Buckley and myself are in that. And so football season, we're like trash talking each other, and members of the other members of the crew and writers and all of that too. So like, these are my football friends. These are my you know, so that's how we are.
Wow. And so were you privy, there's a famous story that after the first season of The Office, or maybe this was the pilot, I think Steve Carell talked about this, how they were sort of on the fence about picking it up again, but they knew that Steve was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and it just felt like it was going to be this perfect storm. Were you privy to that? Like, was there ever a time where you weren't sure if The Office was going to go on?
100%. I mean,
really?
I mean, there were 3 points. We made the pilot, didn't know if we would get picked up at all. And at that time, there was sort of a history of NBC show, I mean, the year before there was an NBC show that had been brought over from England of a remake of a British show, and it had bombed terribly. And so there was a lot of feeling about that. There was a lot of feeling about like The Office, Ricky Gervais's original Office is like genius. Why are you going to fuck it up? Like, what are you doing? And so we made that. We did get picked up, but only for 5 more episodes. So then we did 6 and thought we're never coming back again. Then they let us come back again for 6 more. And this is our 2nd season, the one that we ended up winning Best Comedy for on the Emmy. We did 6 episodes in like, call it July, August. September 1st, we pack up and go home. Like, Angela Kinsey tells a story. She took her name off of her trailer because it was like, well, this was a great memory. I want to make sure I have that. And we packed up. They sent the trailers back to the rental place, and we never knew if we came back. Then the show got on the air, started picking up. 40-Year-Old Virgin happens. We had the show before us, My Name is Earl, that was big, like really came out of the gate hot. We got more viewers from that. And then, by a year later, we won the Emmy, and then we were sort of set from there. But no, after 6, and after 12, we totally thought we were done.
Wow. That's unbelievable. And how open were they? I mean, obviously there's these incredible outtakes for the show that have been shared on Instagram and TikTok, right. and there's so many alts going on. How much of that is that from the writers, and how much of that is just improvised off the cuff?
That's a great question. The scripts, because we were dealing with a mega conglomerate organization like NBC Universal, there was a script with the words on the page that we had to shoot, because, they couldn't get in the editing room later and find like they didn't approve of something we said or whatever. So that we always shot. Then we had something we called Candy Bag, which was essentially writer alts that they could incorporate in. And then we were always given an opportunity, a take or more, if especially if they liked it, to do like just go totally off script. So yeah, and each episode is very different about how much. I know that they one, for fans of the show, I found this out within the last year or so, the longest consecutive improv on the show was the first Halloween episode, and Dwight is dressed as the Sith Lord, and they're discussing firing someone. It's when Creed ultimately stays and Devin, the other character, gets fired. But Dwight is Sith Lord, and Michael has another head, and he starts pretending that he's talking to the other head, and Dwight is like, what is he saying? What is he saying? All of that was improv. They ended up cutting a story. It goes on for like minutes that they just thought was so hilarious that they wanted to put in and do that. So that's an example of a big one. But the other one in the episode Gay Witch Hunt, when Michael kisses Oscar, that was improvised. That's probably the most singular moment that was improvised that at least that most of us remember.
All right. So best bite of the week segment where we talk about our best bites of the week. You've been in New York. I'm sure you've been eating food. Okay, yeah. What your best bite of food is. I'll go first. I went to the Morgan Wallen concert on Saturday night.
Okay.
He was fantastic.
Okay.
Before that, we went to Yard House, and Yard House was fantastic. We were
Was it?
throwing in a lot of brands. I just have to say that Yard House, I had these beautiful fish tacos, these Baja fish tacos that were incredibly crispy, incredibly delicious. Loved them. And the poke nachos, also fantastic.
Wow.
Those were my best bites of the week.
Best bites of the week.
They were very good. Josh, anything in Vancouver?
I haven't had anything in Vancouver yet, but before I left on last Friday, I went to Langer's Deli in Los. Oh my God! For a man who knows his meats, I know you'll appreciate this, Brian. Like, I'm from New York. I hate this whole flashy. We have the best pastrami on either coast, but Langer's, they make big claims, and you know what? It's flipping good. The number 19, it's fresh, hot pastrami, sauerkraut, Russian dressing, Swiss cheese on double baked, and this is the key, double baked rye bread, beyond. So good.
Very good. That's a good one. I mean, my obvious answer is something that I made myself. Really, any meal. I guess that would be my bite of the week. But in truth, I was playing golf on Monday, finished, had to come into the city here, and they said, what do you want? And I said, just like a chicken club, right? Now, to me, a chicken club is some grilled chicken, some cheese, some bacon, lettuce, tomato, maybe an aioli sauce if it's fancy, or a little Kewpie mayo or whatever. And so I order this, say, can you bring this? And rye bread, love the rye bread call. He brings it out, and it is a chicken salad club. Immediately, like, that's not what I ordered. However, I took a bite. It was I'm telling you, I keep thinking about this chicken salad club sandwich that was so tasty, so good, so light, flavorful, some tarragon in there, pickle. It was unbelievable.
Wow. There's a trend of chopping things up online, so I'm sure that's what it was. People are taking bagels and taking lox, cream cheese, onions, chopping them all up.
Putting it together?
Maybe that is delicious. All right. What are you nuts? It's our staple. It's our gripe with people, places, and things. You're walking through the disgusting, boiling hot streets of Manhattan, and you're looking at somebody, and you're like, what are you, nuts?
Right.
That's the idea.
Okay.
So, Josh, you want to start? You want me to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay,
so,
please.
Yes, it's been stated, it's our gripes with people, places, and things. And mine has to do with tone modulation. The great Sarah Silverman once had a joke that said, if you're having a good day, tell your face that. And I just think some people, they don't mean to be curt and short and standoffish. The other day at the great Equinox gym, I was walking into the sauna, as one does, covered by a towel. Don't get any ideas. And I asked the guy inside, I said, do you mind if I put a little cold water on the rocks? It's going to be a nice sort of thing that's going to happen. And he looks at me and goes, yeah, fine. And I wanted to be like, what are you, nuts? Don't talk to me like that. Give me a little, sure, go for it. Or give me a no. But this, yeah, fine. I was like, that tone modulation is unacceptable.
Yes.
And I just think we could all do with being a little bit more jolly. That's my
Agreed.
nuts.
Jolly. What are you, nuts?
What are you, nuts?
I was getting a cup of coffee with my wife over the weekend, and we ordered iced lattes. This is a two-part What Are You Nuts?
Okay.
The first is, I don't think I've ever seen an iced latte being made, but an iced latte is an entire cup of milk with one shot of espresso. What are you, nuts? That's basically, we're 6 years old. We're drinking whole cups. It's an entire cup of milk. And my wife prefers half and half.
Okay.
She gets it's a whole cup of half and half. I'm thinking to myself, this is the craziest drink I've ever seen. You're going to be shitting yourself for a month and nobody talks about it. Then I asked her, I'm like, so why'd you get half and half? She's like, half and half is half skim milk, half whole milk. And I said, what are you, nuts? Half skim milk, half whole milk. It's half whole milk, half cream. I posted about this on Instagram and people came to me. They're like, half and half isn't half skim milk, half whole milk. We live in a society of people that think half and half is healthier than whole milk. And that is why we're all so damn fat, because we're here drinking whole cups, a half and half. What are you, nuts?
What are you, nuts?
That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Also, the idea, though, of half and half, you think it does kind of sound healthy. I heard them for a second.
Right.
That said,
it should be called fat and fat.
It should be called fat and fat. Fat and fat. Fat and fatter.
All right. I'm improving this story, so stay with me. I get a phone call. I get a phone call, but I was reading it because it was like the voice, the voicemail text thing.
Sure.
Get a phone call from a person who, of course, never says his name because he says, hi, and I'm just going to use the name Susan. Hi, Susan. It's your brother calling. I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. I'm worried about you. Give me a call back if you can, whenever you're feeling up for it. If you don't want to call tonight, I totally understand. And the person was clearly older. So what do? I feel like really the responsible and quite frankly, the nice thing to do is, and I got 2 of these messages like in succession in 2 days. And sometimes I don't listen to my voicemail. I get these messages and I think I need to call this guy. I need to tell him he doesn't have the blue is not showing up of the iPhone. And so I have to call him. I don't want to text him. It might be a home phone. I don't know. So I call, he picks up the phone. And I say, of course, hey, I'm very sorry. I don't know what your name is, but you've left me a couple of messages for your sister. And I just want you to know that you have the wrong number. You're calling the wrong number. And he says, yeah, okay. And hangs up.
Wow.
Now, I'm trying to be a helpful person, like legitimately a kind call, trying to say like, hey, I'm letting you know your sister seems to be ill and that you're not calling the right number. He calls every 2 or 3 days now, still trying to reach his sister, who he now cannot reach because he clearly has the number wrong, and he's calling me. What are you, nuts? Why not just pick up the phone? It goes along with your point, Josh. Pick up the phone when someone calls and is saying something kind and nice to you and is trying to help you do something, then you just respond nicely. Take in the information that you're being given and then act upon that information, because sometimes people are just trying to do the goddamn right thing and help you out. What are you, nuts? Why are you being such an asshole?
What are you, nuts?
What are you,
Excellent.
nuts?
Grand
Absolutely
slam.
excellent.
Grand slam.
Grand slam. Excellent. And by the way, she gave her brother a fake phone number.
Exactly.
That's how annoying this guy is.
Yes, I know.
She
know.
gave him a fake. You have your sister's phone number wrong. Your sister doesn't want to be contacted by you.
Clearly.
Leave her alone. And on that note, folks, what a wonderful episode. As
Awesome.
always, rate
Brian,
us 5
thank
stars.
you, man.
Got to be 5 stars. Otherwise, what are you, nuts? You can reach us, or you can find us in the Apple store, wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, etc. Watch us on Josh's YouTube, because you got to see us in person. It's very important to see us. Share our clips. Follow us on Good Guys. And most importantly, go buy the Seriously Good Barbecue Cookbook, because this is a seriously good barbecue cookbook. It's a great title.
It's in the name.
Title. And where else can we find you?
SeriouslyGoodBarbecue.com to buy the cookbook. You can find me across my social medias.
Great.
Everywhere you want, BB Baumgartner. You'll find it. There's 3 B's at the beginning with an Baumgartner, because my name didn't fit.
Excellent.
On Instagram. So there you go.
Well, we're all going to be following you. We're all
right. Thank you.
We're all going to be following you. And folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you Mondays and Thursdays.
Not Tuesdays.